And this is live, folks. Does this sound familiar? Does this ring a bell? Blow up the spot. These spots are ready, folks. I hope you are too. V-Spot with the old jingle, putting it back into effect, blowing up the spot. You know how it is. How's everybody doing today? Wanted to throw that one out there and wish you guys, everybody tuning in, a fine start of your week. I hope you're getting your Mondays going. I hope they have started off on excellent vibes, the good vibes that we are bringing here once again, going live on the IGs as well. It is all good. All right, streaming on all fronts, not as many fronts as I have been doing over the course of the past few weeks. Just the three today. Seems that the bandwidth where I'm at momentarily cannot handle possibly anymore. It said, oh no, that is too much to handle. Please, tone it down a notch. So just the three coming at you live on the YouTubes, on the Twitters, and the IG. Hello, everybody. A different location today. As a matter of fact, having said that, I will be jumping around from place to place just a wee bit, at least over the course of these next 10 days or so. So I bear you to please be patient. I don't think that I'm going to be able to make it for Churro. Still have to talk to Kian Sobans about that. But maybe we will, as a matter of fact, if stars align. That being said, congratulations, culés. Barça winning the last match day at a very hostile San Mames. I don't know what it is with those people, but they don't like us. You surprised? I am also. What is the hostility all about? The billetes de dinero, all the fake money flying around, and now still, even on the last match day, where really, I mean, it was all good. Athletic Club have reached their usual mediocre objectives, and we have met ours. And still, Yuri and company determined to make life very difficult indeed. I don't know if you saw a little spat between Lewandowski and Port Leva, who even apologized. He shouldn't have after that little collision when Yuri was taken down by Carvajal in a nasty manner. Carvajal just kicking the shins out of that dude. I don't think he got that upset even in this situation, which was his fault. I don't know if you guys know the exact point that I'm referring to, but those that watch the game surely will. So, what are we going to be talking about today, you ask? Well, we do have quite a lot on our plates. We have news, reports, video footage of Jorge Mendes, the number one agent in the wild. Ha llegado. He's landed, folks. He is here. In fact, the good folks from Gigantes have said that he's already eating. Of course, when you come to Barcelona, what are you going to do? Beach, food, and then some. Well, he's already taken part of one of those three, and it turns out to be the food. They have gone out for a meal where there's a lot on the table. There's, of course, the renovación, the renewal of Lamine Yamal on the table. Then there's the case of Ansu Fat to discuss, and the wee elephant in the room, if you will, and that is, of course, Dibu. El Dibu. El Señor Dibu, will he not be an option to reforzar, to strengthen the Barça goal, the three sticks of the Blaugranas? We will have to wait and see. There's a lot of talks around this topic, around the topic of the portero, of the goalkeeper, because Hansi Flick, who addressed several things in the post-match press conference yesterday, were quite interesting, did talk about quite openly that yes, indeed, they're looking to reinforce that left flank. And the goalkeeper is another topic, because pretty much this team have got all fronts covered when you're looking at two players per position, two competent players. The left flank is, I don't want to say shaky at best, but yeah, there's definitely a high profile, or at least a competent player missing in that position. And then with the permission of Szczesny, and his misses will decide the Polish goalkeeper's fate, whether or not he will renew for another season or not. The club, again, have reportedly put it on the table. They have said, look, we are happy if you stick around, if you renew for another season. You have earned it. That would, of course, mean that Marc-Andre Ter Stegen will be on the undisputed titular, right? The undisputed starting 11 um, starter. But if he does leave, but let me pull this up because this is quite fascinating. You will probably have heard the name of Joan Garcia. I heard some people filling up the chat room. If you do, wherever you're watching this from, have any questions or want to participate, please do submit your comments or questions in the chat box as Arnab has already done. I will get into those in a minute. Thank you, Arnab, for your comment over here. And again, salutations to all of you watching. Joan Garcia is sort of the name in many people's mouths at the moment. Why? Why would you say is the Espanyol goalkeeper so hot right now? Well, I'll tell you why. Mainly because he is, para empezar, a fantastic goalkeeper. He is, I mean, you hear the way that the experts are talking about uh, Juan Garcia, and, it's pretty remarkable that Luis de la Fuente hasn't called him up for the Spain squad ahead of the Nations League because he is talked about as kind of like for sure Spain's future goalkeeper. Like there are very little doubts about that. Now I see there's little I can say about Joan Garcia. I'm not a regular watcher of Espanol games, so to base my opinion solely on highlights would be always never really doing justice. Having said that, I see this more as a position. Can I get my screen to share, please? There we go. This is more of an opportunity of the market right now, a market opportunity, you could also say. The reason being is that his clause is 25 millions. Now, 25 million buyout clause. That's not too bad, taking into account that I think he's 24 years old, if I'm not mistaken. And the fact that he just didn't, not right now, didn't get called up by Luis de la Fuente, at least, which would have raised his buyout clause to 30 million, which still, I mean, if you take into account how much did Manchester United pay for Nona in the time, I think it was like, I want to say it was more than 50 for sure. I even want to say that Chelsea paid 80 million for Kepa. I'm going to pull those up. I don't want to completely talk out of my place where the sun doesn't shine. But I want to say that yes, the figures, transfer figures for goalkeepers heading over towards the Premier League have been inflated for quite some time. Therefore, a young goalkeeper with the backing, general backing of the public, of the experts, that is at the ripe age of 24, that is now at an opportunity, at a buyout opportunity of 25 million, you gotta take that. You have to jump on that. Barca cannot depend on a Szczesny, and his missus deciding whether or not they are going to stay in Iñaki Peña, who yesterday played his seemingly, again, these are reports, but last game for Football Club Barcelona. A nice gesture, I believe, by the German manager to give Iñaki Peña that final kind of send off, something that he could have maybe done with Ansu Fati, now thinking of it. But was that a message of Hansi Flick towards Iñaki Peña to say, look, thank you for your services, lace up the boots one last time before you probably head out this season? I don't know. I quite frankly don't know. It could be. It could very well be. By the way, let me know if there's an echo or anything strange in the audio when I do share my screen, because sometimes these things don't really want to work with me, the technical aspect of these, and I think everything is working okay. But yeah, just let me know. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen just in case. So, mm, Circling back to this goalkeeper conversation, even with a healthy Marc-Andre ter Stegen, who of course, he's not going to go anywhere. He's fresh off of coming back now from this long-term knee injury that kept him out for pretty much the vast majority of the season. Um, how will he come back? It's a Marc-Andre ter Stegen that is also, of course, hugely interested in the fact that the German goalkeeper position now is wide open for him. He has got he's been the backup for Neuer for a very long time now. Now's his chance to really get a stronghold on that position. The point I'm trying to make is that Marc-Andre ter Stegen will be looking to be an absolute, a bona fide starter. I've been hearing things on the radio on conversations of Gigantes as well that perhaps the staff is weighing the option to maybe divide next season's competition between the goalkeepers, meaning you give Ter Stegen La Liga, you give Joan Garcia the Champions League, and Szczesny the Copa del Rey. I've never, as long as I've watched football, more than 30 years, I don't remember a situation where three goalkeepers were the goalkeeper for certain specific competitions. Of course, the earliest memory that I have is Pep Guardiola giving Pinto and Valdez at the time, splitting their time. Pinto was pretty much all champion or Copa del Rey, and Valdez the rest. But between three goalkeepers, no lo sé. I think Chesney would accept. He's been very gracious and open in this topic, or addressing this topic as well. That Marc-Andre ter Stegen is for him one of the best goalkeepers, and the starting goalkeeper for that matter, if healthy for Football Club Barcelona. I doubt that we will see a Chesney who's between retiring again and maybe sticking around for one more season. He won't kick up a fuss if he is the backup goalkeeper, but I don't think that Ter Stegen will be very happy with giving up time, significant time for that matter, to say a Joan Garcia, let alone also a Chesney in another competition, and just be happy and conform with La Liga. I don't see that as a realistic option. Then there's also those that say that Barca are weighing the option, or have basically, because according to, I think it's Cadena Ser, I think it's La Ser. It was said the offer's already on the table, and the offer that is on the table is a buyout. So 25 million to Espanyol. Take your cash. We get your goalkeeper. Thank you very much. Go play on loan for one season in La Liga, in a Spanish team that, I've got, where you get regular minute, like all minutes, you'll be the starting goalkeeper. Regular playing times, what I'm trying to say. High objectives, a demanding team. And the team is Valencia. So is that a and again, according to these reports from La Sed, Joan Garcia's camp are quite pleased with that option. So mm, the feeling, the vibes right now is that Szczesny will most likely stay for one more season. Marc-Andre ter Stegen will be the starting goalkeeper. The other vibe that I get, the sense that I get, and if I have to put in my own gut feeling here, I wonder whether that will be enough. It all depends on what Ter Stegen you get, of course. I think Marc-Andre Ter Stegen at his best, in his prime, is one of the best. Um, and I also think that we have not seen that in a quite some time, even before the injury. So um, I think that's, yeah, the concern is valid. I don't see Hansi Flick. This has He's not somebody that I think is swaying, swoon, swayed, swain. I don't think he's somebody that is swayed over personal relationships very much. Meaning, I don't think that just because Ter Stegen and Hansi are both German and speak the same language, he's just gonna throw a bone and say, don't worry about it. Like you're fine. You'll do fine. I think that he's very demanding of all players. So, but I also think that he will give Ter Stegen time to find his best form again. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's a little bit worrying. I would feel a lot better knowing that we would get a goalkeeper like Joan Garcia. All the while, there's names like Diego Cochin of the B team. There's Jakobishvili, a Hungarian goalkeeper who's been excellent for the under 19 squad. So, there's youngsters knocking on the door there as well. But again, from what I hear and the way these football philosophers, experts, ex goalkeepers talk about Joan Garcia, it's like, man, for 25 million, even if it's just from a business perspective, from a financial point of view, that's like it's a must. Es una oportunidad de oro. It's like a golden opportunity now. Uh, with the Kepas, the Nonas, etc., that have been bought by Premier League teams for 50, 80 million. You got to take this for 25. So we'll see. We'll see. I say this as well. I say this as well because, yes, Jorge Mendes has been now spotted in the Ciudad Condal in Barcelona. And he, of course, is also representative of Dibu. So while they are dotting the I's and crossing the T's on the contract renewal extension for Lamine Yamal, which is the primary objective, of course, for him being here. They will George also mention Dibu? Mm, I think, yeah, that's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. If Chesney does leave, and that would be the only scenario that I could see Adibu entering in this conversation. Is that something that they will discuss today or over the course of these next few months? The summer transfer market is now opened. It's going to be an exciting one, I'm sure. There's, of course, a lot to be said over what's happening in the nation's capital as well. Xavi Alonso has been presented today officially as the new Madrid coach. The Mundialito that is kicking off soon. There's the Nations League that is kicking off. What is it, like the next week, right? I think it's the 5th, the 4th, and the 5th. Germany, Portugal, and Spain, Francia. It'll be revenge. It'll be a case of Lamine against Rabiot part 2 for the Nations League semifinals. That Final Four kickoff at the beginning of June. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. It's interesting times now. The summer times are always fun, and you were saying Maximus is saying Mateo Moreto says Joan Garcia will not join Barca. Okay, all right. Well, we'll see. We'll see. At local sources here say that he is very interested in joining Barca. He's absolutely no issue with the fact that he's coming from Espanyol. So there's mentally he looks like he's ready to take on the abuse that he will receive undoubtedly, if not already, from the Pericos for entertaining the idea of joining Barca. He reportedly again has no issue with it. So we'll have to wait and see. As Moreto, I see it here now. Thanks, Maximus. Saying a zero cost signing for Espanyol's forward line. Um, Kike Garcia. I'm not seeing here the news about Joan Garcia. Oh, is he going to Como? No, this is not about. I don't know. I'm not seeing it. So, anyways, until these things become official and are signed and everything, I think anything can happen. If the player's willing and if he's according to Lacer, who, Sique Rodriguez is the one I think who broke it, who has, I would at least qualify him as having decent information and sources within the club. If he says that there's the chance, then I'll take his word for it. Um, but if not, then we'll have to wait and see. We'll see how this goalkeeper situation plays itself out. The Like I said, just spinning back to Jorge Mendes being in town, the renewal for Lamine Yamal will, I imagine, be a mere formality. Of course, over the course of these past few days, there was so much talk about, is he demanding to be the highest paid player of the first team? Deco has come out, has already Deco has already come out and denied those reports. It's not something that enters into the current financial or salary structure that Barca have, let alone for a player, of course, who's 17, who's now, yes, made his second in full season under the first team, playing for the first team, but still has to become an adult. He'll do so over the summer, but reach the age of 18, I think is July, where he will turn an adult. But yeah, I don't think I couldn't imagine Lamine's agents just being that what's the word, presumptuous or eager even, and already jumped the gun and put on so much, even added pressure. Like, forget about the money. Obviously, everybody, we like to get paid nicely for our services and the work that we do, but to already pitch yourself at the upper echelon, at the highest part of the hierarchy, let's say, of a first team, the likes of Football Club Barcelona. I think Lamine still has the humility as well and his feet on the ground to say, pasito a pasito, right? Poco a poco, step by step. And I don't think that I don't put any weight or truth behind those reports that he's going to get paid like 20 million or something like that. So I think for now, Lewandowski will continue to be the highest paid player of the first team, and we'll see. We'll have to wait for those that get the reports and have the inside scoop to see if we get a peek and a gander, an idea of what the contract extension actually looks like. But then there's the case of Ansu Fati, right? Let me share my screen here a little bit again. Again, do let me know, to all of you watching, if there is a strange echo when I share my screen. Here we have it as well. The Nations League, the fourth and the fifth. Excuse the background noise. I do like this here. I'm happy I brought my equipment. Like I said, for those tuning in, I will be on the move for the next nearly 2 weeks or so, and streaming at different times as well. It's for family affairs that I am away from my usual hub, the digs, the D spot. The spot is wherever I am at and will stream from. So here we have a quick one here just before we turn the page to Ansu Fati. Six Blaugranas, Cubarsí, Pedri, Gavi, Fermin. How good were those two, by the way, in yesterday's game as well? I didn't mention that, but for me, the big standouts, Gavi, Fermin. Gavi in that interesting, more defensive position. Fermin, who I thought was quality. And Lewandowski, who, of course, I was crossing my fingers that he could catch up and snatch that Bota de Oro away from Mbappe. It wasn't meant to be. Anecdotal. Dani Olmo, Lamine Yamal, they're all included in this Final Four squad to face the fine folks of Le Bleu. And by the way, I read somewhere Fermin has also been called up with the under 21s. Please, Fermin, please, please, please. I rate you very highly. You're young, you got a lot of energy. The summer's long, 3 months without football is a long time, but enjoy not playing high competitive football, maybe, no? Just relax a little bit. You got a nice lady friend. You got money to travel around, explore the world, enjoy the finer things in life. Do you really have to play top level Nations League? Two more demanding matches, hopefully at least. The final, the semifinal, and the final, and then also join the under 21s. I mean, come on, just relax. Just take a break. Take a load off. Come on. Drop the shoulders. Relax. Chill. It's the base. Take it easy. Well, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully, he will not play with the under 21s as well. But if the kid wants to do it, what are you gonna do? It's up to Hansi Flick and Deco to probably have a word or just let boys be boys. Um, what are we saying over here? Anything else? Gabi, who's back, of course, with the Spanish national squad. Thought he had a great game yesterday, man. I love the fact that for next season we're gonna have these players just fresh from the beginning. No Club World Cup, no nonsense. Just a nice preseason. Go tour. No US this year, right? We're going over East, I believe. I don't know exactly when, but play a couple of games, preseason games on tour, come back, be ready for the Gamper and the start of the season, all fresh with Gavi and company. Ter Stegen back from injury. Marc Bernal, of course, how can I forget? He turned 18, I think it was today. So Marc Bernal, Gavi, Fermin, Ter Stegen, all these are like fichajazos. Great signings for the first team as they'll all be back and again, knock on wood, healthy come the start of the season. And that's one thing. I mean, obviously I understand that the Madrid fan base and press are selling this Mundialito, excuse me, hold on, as as like I read somewhere, I think it was Chiringuito, where they said winning one Mundialito will count for winning four Champions Leagues. And Pedro is saying something like, if they win it, Mbappe has to win the Balón de Oro. What do you want me to say? It's hilarious. I'm super happy that we're not taking part, especially in this first edition. Maybe in due time this will be some prestigious tournament, and but the fact that you don't have the champion, the three champions of the three biggest leagues in the world, Napoli Serie A, Liverpool Premier League, and Football Club Barcelona representing La Liga. The fact that those three are not in it already makes it just not interesting. With all respects to Pachuca and the rest of the teams, I'm sorry. The best teams are not partaking in this. Yes, we knew the criteria beforehand. Yes, congratulations to those teams that qualified for it, fair and square. But it's un chupito. All right, if we're gonna talk about the the ¿cómo se llama? The Supercopas, Europe and National and the Mundialito and all that stuff. The Club World Cup is otra distracción más. It's just another distraction. It's just another way to lessen the quality of this game and exprimir más jugo, trying to squeeze out the last bit of juice, the last drop of juice from this limon that is, that are athletes, man. I mean, I'm happy my boys are resting. I'm very happy about that. By the way, shout out to Barça B. Commiserations. Pour out a little liquor for the B team who have been relegated. Segunda it is, Federación. They will not be playing in the Primera Federación next season. Word around the campfire is that that's probably a good thing. Giuliano Belletti, who has done an absolute miracle, marvelous job with this under 19 squad, who have become triplete champions, first time in history, youth league, domestic league, Copa del Rey. Shame for the Copa de Campeones final four that they didn't manage to make in an absolute killer game against um, Valencia, by the way, where Barca were up winning 3-0 at halftime, only for this thing to go 3-0 into extra time and penalties, and Barca lost 4-3 in penalties to Valencia. So I think that's played. When is that? That's coming up as well. But the under 19 squad will not be in that. But just to say that with all this talent, the Fernandez cousins, Guille, Tony, Cedric, Hugo Alba, if he stays, we'll see. Aleix Garrido, Diego Cochenengo, Jakobishvili, who will be coming up. All these talents, man, from the under 19 squads who'll be coming up to the B team probably. Like the B team is gonna kill. I'm very excited for next season in that segunda. Belletti's gonna, if what I have been told will actually happen, and that is that possibly Giuliano Belletti will take over for as B team coach. Mm, que no sé, no se sabe si va a pasar. Obviously, um, these are things that are touchy and timely, and will have to be dealt with in over the course of these next months and very carefully. Um, we'll see. We'll see, but I give it one season, and Barça B will be back. Barça Athletic will be back in Primera Federación. I have absolutely no doubt about it. But hey, I digress. What did I really want to talk about? Esto. ¿Hay algo más que decir sobre esto? Ferran Torres. Ah, mira, claro, porque no puede. El niño is in the. Hopefully, he will be back as well once the season gets started. Healthy and ready to go. Inigo Martinez, they try to make something of the fact that Inigo Martinez didn't wasn't selected. Um, yeah, that had nothing to do with the Estelada whatsoever. I'm sure that Inigo was well aware of the fact that any ramifications that could come from the parade where he, the title parade, he waved around the Catalan independence flag. Obviously, Madrid press saw that, put it on their front page, and ran with it. Hysteria it was. Yeah, that's not why Luis de la Fuente didn't call him. I'm pretty sure Inigo was like, "Hey, I'm ready to chill this summer and try to be healthy for the preseason. So you're good. You guys are good. Give the youngsters an opportunity here." I think he's being replaced by Hausen anyway. So yeah, it's all good. All good. All right, Abra, thank you for saying no echoes. And Shazin, what is up? You're a big fan. Well, thank you very much for your comment, my friend. Welcome to La Familia. Welcome to the spot. Make sure that you head on over to the YouTubes. Shazin is dropping a message from the YouTube. Please say my name, Shazin. That's what I'm saying, my friend. Am I saying it wrong? Shazin. Head on over to YouTube. Subscribe. All right. Hit the notification bell. We have got the D Spot back in action, and like I said, I'm not streaming from the usual location because I'm on the move and on the go, and will be on the go and on the move for the course of, well, not just the next few weeks. I would say this summer va a ser un poco bastante movidito también por mi parte. Like, I'm gonna be bouncing around for family issues, matters, and personal ones. So hit that notification bell because you don't know when I'm gonna be going live, but I will continue to stream at any given occasion. And here, Luis de la Fuente talking about Lamine Yamal, of course, the center of attention. All eyes set on the youngster, especially heading into this tasty clash matchup, potential revenge type match for the French, where they'll be trying to get one over España, La Roja, and seek revenge for what happened over in the Euros last summer. We'll see how that one fares, but with all this Balón de Oro talk, Lamine Yamal just being praised, receiving praise left and right from those that know best, as that Balón de Oro will depend heavily, of course, as it always does, on the Champions League final. But with, I don't see, if Inter win, people will say Lautaro, but he hasn't been that impressive. He's obviously good, very solid, but from an individual point of view, there have been players that have been far more impactful and impressive, and Lamine Yamal is one of those. So Whether it's Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, I think Rafinha is sort of out of the running just because of the age factor. I think that, yes, even though people don't like me to mention this, the fact that we're talking about a 17-year-old kid playing against seasoned veterans, defenders, um, makes it all the more remarkable and all the more noteworthy and reason for praise and prize as well. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Pedri, of course, another honorable mention for him being in that talk or the podium, let's say, standings for this Balón de Oro. Uh, let's see what he says about De La Fuente about Joan Garcia. I didn't actually see this. He said, damos importancia a los que están. So we give importance for those who are here. You're talking about uh, porteros, goalkeepers of a high level. Unai Simon, Raya, Remiro. The Juan has had a great season. He trained under me in the under 21s, but my focus is on the three that I just mentioned. So okay, all right. Well, look, thank you, De La Fuente. Thank you for tossing us a bone because, like I said, that buyout clause instead of being raised to 30 million is still at 25. So mm, we can always, wherever you can, pues rascar un poco, where you can save a little. Bienvenido sea. Um, moving on. I think this Joan Garcia topic is pretty straightforward. Let me know what you all think about the Espanyol goalkeeper, uh, where Gonzalez, Manolo Gonzalez, the Espanyol coach, said, I don't see him going to Barca. What is the Barca? I mean, what is the Espanyol coach going to say? Of course, he's going to say that. He's going to be like, it's a good team. I think you should go. To our biggest rival, the one who we play against our entire season against. And yeah, obviously he's not going to give in to that. He's not going to give him any praise or good words of advice in public, at least, to say to join us. Pretty sure that behind closed doors, though, if he has his hand on his heart and he's a good man, he would see that this in his career would be an amazing move and a massive leap. And, put rivalries aside, the chance to join Barça, esto solo pasa una vez en la vida. Or does it? Or does it? Does the Barça train pass only once in life? Or does it happen maybe twice if your name is Nico Williams? That is really the other topic here, right? We've covered the three sticks. We've covered the goal for Barca. Now the other topic that Hansi Flick mentioned yesterday was the strengthening of the left flank, the left wing position. Several options here. Several options here. You have, of course. Um, let me get serious for this. You have, of course, the option of reigniting talks with a Nico Williams, whose buyout clause is 56 million, if I'm not mistaken. Then there is other options, right? Then there are other options. There are options that are less high profile. Um, this one worries me probably the most because it's one that you have to be extremely tactful with, given how last summer transpired. And by that I mean when Nico Williams seemed in the front seat and almost a guarantee to come, you had a Rafinha who was on the other end of that stick, feeling very hurtful, hurt by these rumors, the way that it was handled. And despite that, even though he looked and he admitted this publicly, had one foot out of the Barca camp, was ready to go. Thanks to a chat with Hansi Flick, he decided to stay and had his best season in his entire career in professional football. So how do you go about looking for the left winger? I talked about it on Churros on Friday a little bit, on Thursday I think it was actually. And Luis Diaz is an option that I think is interesting because it's less high profile than a Nico Williams. He's a little older. He's much more expensive. That is not a given, of course, but at least if you have to believe reports, Liverpool are saying they don't want less than 80, 85 million. I think it is. It is transfer marked. Yeah, putting 85 million in the Colombian left winger, or putting an 85 million price tag on the Colombian left winger. I don't like that very much. I really don't like that very much at all. Um, is Rashford a better option? Obviously, Rashford has been kind of flirting. His name has been in the press for quite some time, linked with Barca. The guy is on loan. He's another opportunity in the market that, sure, is interesting. Marcus Rashford as a backup for Rafinha on the left, I think is something that Hansi Flick would definitely entertain and probably benefit from very much. And he might be the best option. I think he might be the best of the three. The reason I think, or let me say it this way, I think in terms of a cultural and stylistic fit, I think Nico would be the best. But I just don't know what would happen Rafinha. Are you going to play Rafinha in the middle? Are you going to be playing him as a false nine, false 10? Is he going to adjust and adapt and be happy having to reinvent himself again in a different position at a mature age after having just had his best season because Nico Williams is coming in? That is what worries me. And you're not just talking about anyone. You're talking about Rafinha, oh capital, you know, the symbolic first team captain, even though he is the fourth, I think it is. Um, eesh. But I like Nico. You know, Nico. Obviously, he's been dying to play for Barca. I say dying to play. I think even Lamine and Balde and the guys, Gavi, are even more desperate for him to come. There's obviously a very good relationship, friendship, genuine one for that matter, between these crop of players, this group of guys, and that is good. You know, culturally, he's a great fit. It would be a seamless fit. Stylistically, I have no doubt that Hansi would, up his game. He would reach new stratospheric heights. You probably get the best out of him and reach his maximum potential under Hansi Flick. What worries me on the other end, besides the Rafinha factor, is and this is, I'm talking ahead of myself here because there's still everything to prove for. This team has only just gotten started, and I truly believe that we're just at the cusp of a new era, a new dynasty of this very young, exciting, highly talented footballing squad. And I'm not fearful of that, but I don't want it to fizzle out too quickly neither, you know? And I'm a little bit fearful that if you have too many buddies becoming the kings of football too quickly, that the downfall will be just as quick. So I hope and that's kind of what I've been telling myself. Obviously, one of the reasons why I liked not having won the Champions League or being knocked out in the semis is that there's still fuel for motivation here. There's still fire in the bellies here. You know, you guys haven't done everything yet. And if you do, you got to make sure to repeat it because, as we know from the great Phil Jackson and other championship coaches, it's not so much. And even Michael Jordan said it. It's not about getting there that is the hard part. It's staying there. So there's a lot to say about that. There's the three-pit in Champions Leagues, obviously that Real Madrid achieved in their history. That we want to smash that tripletes that other clubs cannot win. That we need to reconquer, of course. But I just am a little bit fearful of if they get really overly successful too fast and they're so these guys are kings of Barcelona of football of the world at such a young age if that's just gonna get to their heads and because how can it not? I mean they're so young still, 17, 18, early 20s, multi-millionaires. Every guy wants to be like him. Every girl wants to be with them. How can it not? You have everything at your disposal. How can it not get to your head? So you know, even with a great obviously team like a sporting coach, but also man manager that Hansi Flick is that he has proven. I mean, look at the impact that he has had on this team when they didn't speak the same language, didn't have came come from the same cultural background. He was somebody who had a lot to prove as well. Yes, six did it with Bayern, but German national league, German national side, there were question marks. There were question marks for me at least. Um, but he's proven himself to be so good at handling these young, impressionable football players, show them the ropes, make them execute this style of football that, again, from the heavens, Rinus Michels and Johan Cruyff will be hugging it up with tears rolling down their faces at the interpretation of this German manager's game of football total and what it should be, and how we Barca fans and Oranje fans love it to be exhibited, right? To for it to be executed. Um, yeah, what will that look like if this just continues to steamroll and to snowball into an unstoppable footballing machine? Uh, will they be able to cope with that much success that quickly? Like I said, I'm getting too ahead of myself, and that's a conversation for not now, because I'm talking purely hypotheticals here and in hyperbolic terms as well, surely. But uh, yeah, that's the only little doubt that I have. If you were to bring in a Nico Williams, is then those things, right? The impact that his arrival could have. I think there's a lot of great benefits, mainly only benefits, but I have some doubts. And I wonder, like I said, if a lesser, lower profile Marcus Rashford, the I just don't like that 80 something million price tag, man. That's like, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, those are my thoughts. How are we doing over here? Should I address the chat just a wee bit? And I do gotta go soon. So let me head on over to the chat box, the comment section, as it's also referred as, and see what the good folks are saying on the D spot. Once again, a shout out to my channel. Head on over to youtube.com/D spot for the latest and greatest from yours truly surrounding, regarding Football Club Barcelona. As Xavi Alonso has been presented, he's saying, we are going to do things. We can do things that is going to light the people up. All right. Yeah, well, let's hope that that flops, eh? Over here, Shazin. Ah, no, I said that. Uh, Edithia, Gyökeres en el Barça. Yeah, I, I just don't think that's gonna happen. I don't. Nobody's talking about that option. Uh, Lewandowski's staying. Ferran will be the backup. I just don't see that happening. Mm, sure, I have my worries for Lewy, who will be even a year older. I think he's had a great season. Surprised me by how well he performed this season, close to his personal best. I Gyökeres, I don't see it happening. Like I said, nobody's talking about it. Ferran Torres had an excellent season. I think between them two, we got the 9 spot covered. Um, I think Lewandowski could score more goals if he receives the ball more. So I think there's options there that Hansi Flick can still exploit. And yeah, I don't see that happening. I don't see it. Iditya saying if PSG win, Dembele is gonna win the Ballon d'Oro. He's referring to. If they will lose, it'll be tricky. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I think as well. Huh? If PSG win, then Dembus will get the Ballon de Oro. Um, how funny will that be? If you're Mbappe, you're just like looking in the mirror, going, "What the fuck just happened? What's going on here? I come here to win the Ballon de Oro, to win the Champions League, and now Dembus, the man that was people were laughing at when the comparisons were drawn, when Bartomeu, for all the things he did wrong, and he did most of the things wrong, and even the price tag, of course, that Dembus arrived with was very wrong, and his start at Barca couldn't have been more wrong, with all the injuries and just the bad adaptation, bad childish attitude and unprofessional approach. But if he would win the Champions League and a Ballon d'Oro before Mbappe, that would be that's funny as hell. Man. That would be hilarious, hilarious. Um, let's see. Shisty talk. Is that shisty talk? Do you guys really need another left winger of Nico's quality, or should you give confidence to Rafinha sign a backup? Yeah. So I think shisty. I've addressed that one, right? I think Nico would be an amazing improvement and definitely one that could be of high use for a Hansi Flick. Um, my question is, what do you do with Rafinha? What signal, what message do you give Rafinha to your symbolic leader, captain of the team, after his personal best season? And how does that player, how does a Nico then adjust to this team? Not so much on the short term, but in the long term, what impact will he have? Definitely, worth talking about. Yeah, 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 yeah. What's up, Abra? How you doing, my friend? You saying D? What have you heard so far about the possibility of Lukman joining Barca? Not much, man. Not much. Lukman is another player that definitely his name has been mentioned in the papers, but not one that has been linked realistically. Also, ¿cómo se llama? Leao, right, from Milan. Lukman. Um, Anything can happen. And I think Lukman actually is an interesting option, quite frankly. But I haven't heard much about it at all. The papers are quiet with regards to this topic. Obviously, when it comes to Nico, now the talks are also of Madrid potentially being interested in him. This is an interesting one scenario, that is obviously never going to happen. But I'm thinking if Rodrigo has got his ticket punched and is out the doors of the Bernabeu, what is Nico? What is Rodrigo's natural position? Where where did Rodrigo play before he arrived to Real Madrid? Imagine Rodrigo coming to Barca. I think that that would be an interesting one, and I think that would be fun to talk about. I'd love to know Kian's opinion on that. Maybe tease him a little bit with this idea. Again, I can't see it happen. I don't realistically think that that will ever be an option. But it's why not? Why not? I'm sure if the tables were turned around, Madrid with all the players that they've swooped of ours, either behind our backs or straight from right from out from underneath us, it would be nice to get one back over our eternal rivals in that matter. And Rodrigo, who was originally also on the agenda, right, of Bartomeu, I believe at the time, even Vinny was for that matter. His talks with Piqué make us believe at least that it was a done deal before Florentino swooped in and snatched them away from us. And the same with Rodrigo. I think Rodrigo would be enjoy his time much more at Barca than at Madrid. So I think that would be an interesting option. I want to start pushing that one. Let's see if Fabrizio could make something out of this and say that there's talks or interest of the Rodrigo camp to join the Barca. Why not? Que pasa? Que pasa, Neng? Joan in the house. Joao, my friend from Sport. Take a look at the podcast that Sport or Catalan Spanish counterparts are doing. fantastic, just great podcasts that are being produced by my friend here. And for those of you that speak the Spanish language, Castellano, sometimes referred to as Cristiano, uh, definitely look at the podcast of sport because Juan is doing a great job. A ver si lo van a hacer en inglés. Coño, llámame y lo hacemos en inglés. Um, no, would you guys like English content on sport? I think I would. I think I would hugely enjoy that. Listen, my good friends, I'm going to call it an end here. 55 minutes, nearly an hour. All right. Pretty good. Thank you all for your questions. Thank you all for your participations. We got a lot more to discuss. Maybe I'm going to stream again tomorrow or Wednesday. I will not be able to do it Friday or Thursday or Friday. So definitely one more time before the end of the week, if not twice, where we can get into the Xavi Alonso era a little bit more, talk about if Rodrigo goes out the door and does join Barca, what will happen at Real Madrid? Does will Guller be a bona fide starter next season? Who will replace Modric? Is it going to be a Camavinga Chouameni midfield? They've come a long way from Kroos and Modric, or even Xavi Alonso. What maybe Xavi Alonso will lace up his boots. I'm sure, pretty sure he can improve their midfield as well. Still, even at the ripe age of whatever he's at. Folks, that is all from me. We'll see if we have more news as well. Of course, the Ansu Fati, that was a little bit the tiny elephant in the room. Is it Chelsea? Is it Monaco? It looks like we're in the final stages of Ansu, the Barca number 10, leaving for another team, definitively or not. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see if it's a loan or not, if it is a full on transfer. And he also said, of course, that Araujo, this is Hansi Flick, is he counts on him, and I do believe him. I don't think that he wants to get rid and give up on Ronald Araujo just yet. I think the Uruguayo has not said his last word in a Blaugrana shirt, so I think he will be staying. I think next time we're streaming, though, we'll probably be talking about a post Ansu as a Barca player era, and who will take over from the number 10. I think that is the worst kept secret. I think we all know who will inherit the number 10. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. Subscribe to D Spot, youtube.com/D Spots. You know, subscribe to Churros Patreon for the matter. That's patreon.com/churros y tácticas. Become a patron. Support the cause. All right. Support the independent content creators. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for being here. And I'll see you in the next stream. Peace out.